Hello, this is Frank Anaya, and I'm excited that you're on this challenge with me. For the next days, the next 30 days, we're going to take 15 minutes and every day get better and get results from Obsidian. And to do that, we're going to set a clock here for 15 minutes. So you're going to see that on the background playing as we get focused and get results. Are you looking to get started with Obsidian? Are you looking to see how it can change and be your second brain forever? But has seeing all the tutorials and all the different ways that people explain it just left you feeling overwhelmed? In fact, it feels so complicated that you don't even want to take a step into it. I was there, and I know what that feels like. I just wanted someone to guide me step by step and not take forever, not take months of my time and energy, because frankly, I'm busy. And most likely you are too. So let's get something practical, let's get up and running, and let's start to think strategically so we can get the maximum results on what we're doing. Okay, and I set the timer on because I intentionally time blocked this to show you just how much you can get done in 15 minutes every day and build on the knowledge so that you build this powerful system. Just quickly so you understand what Obsidian is, it's a knowledge base on top of local folder of plain text markdown files. If this is all gibberish to you, no worries. We'll get through it and it'll start to make sense. But think about that. Just on your computer, you have a folder and you have files. These files connect to each other, and through the plugins, through themes, through design elements, they allow you to expand the ability of your notes. But this will be much more clear as you start using it. All right, so how do we get started? Go to obsidian.md, and from there, click on the big purple button. You'll have something that downloads directly to your computer. So in that case, if you're on Windows, it'll have an executable file. It's a DMG file. Basically, take this, click on it. The moment you click on it, it'll install it on your applications. So when you do that, and I'm just going to show you how it looks like, it'll go ahead and look like this on your downloads folder. It'll take you to this place. Now, when you get here, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do, right? What is all this about? Well, the first thing we want to do is create a new vault. Just for the sake of this instruction and to show you how easy it is, I'm going to do Obsidian 30. And when it asks me for a location, I want it on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and click where it says Users, Desktop, and go ahead and create this. Just like that, my friend, you've installed Obsidian. If you're curious to see how this looks like, we can actually see it here in the file repo. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my files here just to show you. And right here, this folder, I'm going to click on it, that you see, this is Obsidian's folder structure. All right, how are we doing on time? So there you go. We've installed Obsidian in less than 3 minutes. And that's with me talking, right, and giving you everything. But now you might be thinking, okay, what do I do next? What's the first thing I do? How do I even get started? Excellent. I'm not going to dive into the specifics of each part. What I'm going to do is focus on building a plan so we can strategize our next 30 days and build a system for what we need. The first thing you do is click here on this new note and call this my Obsidian use ideas. The first thing to note is we've created a file, and inside of this Obsidian, now we have a blinking cursor, which is moving and letting us know. What we're going to do now is create a list of ideas of how we can start to use Obsidian for the next, for our life, for our purposes. So I'm just going to put a little dash, and after the dash, if you put a space, that creates a bullet. Now with a bullet entry, I can start typing ideas. So what I'm going to do next is we'll take about 30 seconds just to brainstorm and think of usages for this. So for me, a PKM system. So this is my notes for learning, for managing my time. Let's see, what else do I want to use Obsidian for? To get more out of what I learned. Let's see, to strategize, to planning, project management. What else am I looking to do? Take better notes, right? Which I already have over here under notes. Mind mapping. That's one thing I'd like to do. I've seen Kanban boards. And just to add structure and get organized. Okay, so I just took about 30 seconds to write just some brainstorm of ideas. So what I'm going to do next is just show you how we can start modifying this information to start pulling out what we want. Obsidian uses Markdown. And some of the shortcuts, you can go down a rabbit hole and learn everything there is to know about Markdown, but don't do that. Know this. By using the hashtag, and you have this from header 1, header 2, header 3, these are the ways you can start adding bolding to your elements, so you can start structuring the material. So we're going to say this idea uses for Obsidian. And I'm putting this not as a header 3, but a header 2. Another thing that we're going to do next, just so we can start seeing the practical uses, we already have like some just random ideas. How will Obsidian solve problems for me? So just by starting to think about the problems you have right now. Well, for one, like maybe the problems I have is I can't find my notes. I don't get much out of what I've read, captured before. What are some of the other problems? My notes are messy. I don't know what I want to get out of my thinking. Let's see, what are some of the things or problems that Obsidian will solve for me? I want a better experience with note-taking. Okay. And the truth is, I don't know what I don't know, which is kind of this challenging difficulty, right? We don't know what we don't know. Okay. So that's great. We have a note. Now what, right? What I want to do next is teach you some of the core elements of Obsidian. So what I'm going to do here is introduce to you a way of creating a new note in my system by using the double brackets. And I'm going to say here Obsidian basic notes, basic elements to know. Now, right now, I'm going to zoom in just so you see it a little bit better. You'll see that there isn't really much to it because it's all blank. But if I click on this, now I've created a note on my repository over here. And what are some of the basic things we want to know from Obsidian? Well, one, how to create notes. So we just learned the bracket method. We can add click on icon to add new note. And there's many other ways, right? So we've already shown you two. We've also learned formatting of notes. So we've learned the bullet method. And I'm about to show you another method. Whether you're on Mac or Windows, it might change differently, so I'll be using the Mac. If you press Command Enter, you can make it into a checkbox. So again, let's step back. What we're learning right now is just how to start working and creating notes from the core without overcomplicating or going down the whole more advanced methodology. But we're starting to see how this could be useful. Okay, as you see that though, I want to show you, now that we have the method we've learned how to create a checklist. We've learned how to add that. We've learned how to, the bracket method to create a new page. Now what? Right now you might be thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling like, what's going on, right? My friend, what you've just done is you've created your basic notes. So give yourself a round of applause. You've got something up. You've got yourself going. Let's start exploring and seeing some of the elements that Obsidian makes possible with these different panels. So starting on the left, what you have here is an ability to create a folder, which in this case I'm going to create called Inbox. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, and I'm going to drag my notes into the inbox. So we start giving them a structure and container. I don't know about you, but when I get a lot of ideas and when I start to create much information, I need a way to corral it and contain it. And so what I found and what I'm going to teach you right now is to create this inbox methodology. So folder setup, I'm going to say create your first inbox. We just did that. We can check it off. Next, one of the thinkings that's really good idea for you to start to develop is your own philosophy of how you take notes. Start observing yourself and what works and what doesn't work for you. The moment you start creating that methodology for yourself, you're able to really take your own knowledge and start to give it that life. So what I recommend you to do is, in this case, I'm going to right-click, create a new note inside of my inbox, because I don't know where it goes just yet. Philosophy of my note-taking. So for me, again, I'm using the dash. I like folders. I like seeing what I'm working on, and also capturing and evaluating my usage. So this is just like a quick note. I might also do something in here, like put in Tuesday, or let's say just day 1 notes. Okay, so let's see. I can click on the first note, I can click on the second note, and I can click on my third note. Not bad, right? We've got our first note-taking system. But I want to teach you this next method. Teach you a results-getting methods. Increase your productivity by opening up several notes at once. How? Use command plus click. Control if you're on PC. So let me show you that. If I click command plus click, notice what just happened there. Now I've opened up that first note. First, I'm using command W to close through everything. I'm going to open my first note. Then I'm going to show you the second note, and then I'm going to show you the third note here. So I've got the ideas for use. I've got that second page. But do you notice how there's this drag to rearrange section? What I'm going to do is pull down on it. So now what we have here is a side-by-side panel of my ideas and usages. I've got my little checklist that I'm going on with here, and then my day 1 notes. So just immediately imagine what that can start doing when you have one note and you start seeing it in different angles. And that's a benefit to using Obsidian. But okay, we have about 2 minutes. Let's make some changes and adjustments to the layout. All the settings that you'll be adjusting here, you can go down to the bottom left corner. Under settings, what I'd like to do first is change the appearance. I don't know about you, but in this case, I prefer the light because it's just easier on the eyes. How did I do that? I went to settings. Under appearance, you can go in and change the light. Quickly, just a minute in here. If you go under manage, you can see that there's many different themes available. So feel free to choose one of your liking. I have a few recommendations, but again, I'm going to stick to the default just to avoid spending down time that's wasted trying to decide on these things. Next, let's go into some of the major settings that I like here. For one, I like folder heading. Everything looks good here. One of the things, spell check isn't a bad thing to have because sometimes it's hard, right? Under files and links, instead of having the vault folder just be anywhere, anytime I create a new folder, typically what I like to do is put it inside of the inbox. So you could see what I just did there, which was click here and then select inbox. New link format, wiki links, everything looks good. And then the same goes for folder attachments. So what does that look like? Well, in the next minute or so, because this video is about to end, I'm going to set up 4 folders. So I'm going to click 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to be teaching and creating, and I'll dive more into tomorrow how I use Para, which is the best system I found to organize my thoughts and ideas. Para stands for projects. Number 2, I have areas. And again, How you name it or how you identify it, that's a convention that's up to for you to use. Resources. And then in the fourth one, I'm going to have my archive. And inbox, what I like to do with inbox so that it's alphanumerically sorted is bring it to the top. So there, my friends, we've set up a folder structure. We've set up our first ideas. We've started our usage of Obsidian. Hopefully you like this. Next up, what's going to come is I'm going to start showing you how we can start building and actually identifying workflows, because that's an important key thing. So let me do this right now. I'm working on this project, which I'm going to go ahead and create right in front of you, called the 30-day Obsidian project demonstration video. So day one, we set up Obsidian and our basic folder and pane view. Day two, upcoming, we have explain para briefly. And also, we're going to be teaching how to set up your first workflow. And that's it, my friend. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Talk soon.